Hi, my name is Keelan Redmond. I'm a veterinarian in Aiken, South Carolina. I've been a veterinarian for 11 years. I graduated from Auburn University College of Veterinary Medicine in May of 2004. And I went from Auburn to New Jersey, where I did a surgery and lameness internship. Between 2005 and 2008, I worked primarily on the racetrack in Lexington, Kentucky, doing sports medicine and lameness on the racetrack. In 2008, I was ready to get away from the racetrack and I wanted to be in a different type of practice. So I made the decision to move to Aiken and start my own veterinary practice. The practice is called Avoca Equine. Ironically, it's named after a racehorse. Ironic since I moved here to get away from racehorses. I decided I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was 11 years old, and I've stayed really committed to that path ever since. I got into veterinary school when I was 19 years old, and I got out when I was 24, which was really young. I was the youngest person in my class by far. I'm 35 now, so I guess I've been on this path for 21 years, basically. Owning and operating a solo veterinary practice is a whole different challenge versus just practicing medicine. I didn't quite realize, honestly, what it would be like to do all of the peripheral jobs to just being the veterinarian. It has its perks. I'm the boss, obviously, so I have a certain amount of independence, but it's funny how being your own boss both gives you independence and takes independence away from you, because you have the sole responsibility for the happiness of the customers, which directly translates into the success of the business. It can be quite a high pressure job. It can be quite a high pressure situation. And I think that pressure exists for two reasons. One, it really is life and death when you're dealing with the lives and the sporting careers of animals. Two, it's a pretty high stakes economic game. Some of the horses that we work on are worth well upwards of $100,000. I would say 50% or more of the horses we work on are worth between 6 and 7 figures. I have my own horse that I ride, and I used to be really active in 3-day eventing, which is like triathlon for horses. I grew up doing it a little bit, and then I got away from it for a long time when I was in veterinary school and in my first several years in practice. And then I came back to it about 6 years ago at this point. I had 2 fantastic horses that were former patients that were given to me at the end of their top-level careers, and they made my life. They were the greatest things that have ever happened to me. Athletes at that elite level, horses that have been to that elite level, they have so much to teach the humans around them, and they take such pride in showing you what they know. And they are everything we admire about sports. They're gritty and they're relentless and they're tough and they're full of desire to do the job. And it's an inspiration to be around them. It's an inspiration to be their veterinarian. It's a bigger inspiration to be on their backs. It's incredible. I have a husband, Louis, who I've been married to for 7 years. He's a landscape designer. He also supports the veterinary practice a lot. Like, he does a lot of errand running for the practice, and he does a lot of drop-offs of blood work at the lab and pickups of supplies, and he's the sort of most important unpaid employee of the practice. We have no children. We have Shuli, who's our little dog, and Capo, who's our big dog, and we have 3 horses.